Hi everybody. So this is the one you've all been waiting for. The Level 3 recognition form, the Y2200. That's the one we're going to focus on today. And so this one is quite different from the first two levels that we talked about. There are no charts here. It's all narrative. It's all essay type questions. And so that can be a little scary for some people, but I'm going to try to help give you some tips on how to complete that. So where we've talked about 4-H as an experiential learning process, we do the activity, we reflect on what we just did, and then we apply that new knowledge or skill that we've gained to something else in the future. In this form, we really want to focus on the application stage of that experiential learning process. We want to know what you did in 4-H, but we want to know how you're going to apply that information, that knowledge, or those skills in college, in your career, or in your daily life. And so that's where the difference really comes in. We really want to get to that application stage. As with the other forms, there's some really important information here on the very front page. First of all, where you could handwrite or type in the earlier two, this one specifically says type. And it specifically says that you have to have 1-inch margins. It needs to be a 12-point font, one side single spaced. So it's very specific. Now, there's a reason for that. We do life skill development in 4-H. And I can tell you that I use prepared forms online or on the computer on a daily basis that I am putting information in, typing information in. So this is a skill you're going to use a lot in your life, and you're going to start using it when you complete this form. Also, you want to be sure that not only are you neat, but that your grammar is correct, your spelling is correct, your punctuation is correct. And it's a good idea when you get your form completed to have someone proofread it for you and help you catch those little tiny errors that you may have made while you've been putting it together. When you're focused on content, sometimes it's easy to overlook misspelling a word or misusing grammar. So have someone else read it through for those types of things, as well as helping you remember significant things that you've done throughout the year in 4-H. As with the other forms, you can use up to 3 years of information. There's even a section where you can go back further than that. But what we're looking for here is the focus on the past year, and we also want to see the progression in your skills. So when you talk about something that you did, maybe we're first year as a member, an example I like to share with people is about a 4-H member who was the shy kid who sat at the back of the room in club meetings when they first started 4-H as an 8-year-old. And then by the time they got to 10 and 11, they were kind of sitting in the middle of the room for the meetings and they were a little more comfortable. And then by the time they were a teenager, they were the club president and they were leading the club. And so that's a progression in terms of their comfort level and their leadership and public speaking skills that they gained through being involved in 4-H. So that's kind of the things that we're looking for with those progression of skills. So you also want to be sure that you stay within the page limit of each of these different sections. And you want to be sure that you have the headings for each section. Section B, leadership experiences. And then we're going to talk through how we're going to go from there. But you want to be sure that you have those headings on the pages and stick to the page limits that are specified in the form. It's very much essay driven on this particular form, except for this first page, which once again is all of your personal information and your signatures. Make sure that you have all of these signatures completed before you turn in your form. This next part is where we start getting into the essay. Section B, leadership experiences. You have 7 different life skills here that we want you to take some time, think about, and then write a paragraph about your experiences in 4-H related to that particular life skill. You have 2 pages that you can put these 7 paragraphs on. So really think about, you may have more in one than you do in another. They don't have to be exactly equal, but really think through, how is it that 4-H helped you in communicating, for example, or in getting along with others, or in working with others. So those are just 3 of the particular life skills that we're focused on in this section. I would encourage you to read through the example report forms that I've provided to give you an idea about some of the things that we're looking for there. Section C is citizenship and Section D is community service, and both of these are a half page. And so again, we've talked about what those things mean and what they are, but I would encourage you to really focus in on 1 or 2 activities rather than trying to list all the things that you do in that particular area. Really talk about a community service or a service learning project, for example, that had significant meaning for you, that you really feel like you gained a lot from personally. And what was it that you gained? How will you use that in the future? Then on 4-H projects and activities, you have 1 page. And here I would encourage you to focus on your most significant projects. Maybe pick 2 to 3 projects to really focus in on. Some of us take a lot more projects than that, but really think through your most significant or most important projects. And really focus on not just the skill development that you did within the project, but how those skills can be transferred to other areas in school or other areas in your life. So for example, if you had animal projects and you learned responsibility from being there to do chores and feed your animals and take care of them, how will that gained skill of responsibility help you elsewhere? And then we get into your 4-H story. Now this is where I encourage you to let your personality shine. We want to know all about you, why you got involved in 4-H, why you stayed involved in 4-H, what you think the most important thing you've done in 4-H has been, how it's helped you the most, and what your future plans are and how 4-H and your experience may have influenced that. Then you have an opportunity to add 6 photos, 2 to a page with a caption. And I encourage action photos that show a lot of variety. So project, shows, achievement days, demonstrations, different action photos of you that really give us an idea of the full breadth and scope of your 4-H involvement. Then we have a very life skill oriented section, which is a resume and references. Now, there is an example resume that's online, and there's also kind of a template, and then provide 3 references, just as you would if you were applying for a job or applying for college. And so this next page gives you the layout of your resume and how you need to set that up. So you have that provided. And then this is the layout for the references. So once you get it all completed, I encourage you to have someone read it through, to proofread it for grammar and punctuation and spelling, but also to make sure that you're not forgetting something really significant that you did in 4-H that maybe you haven't talked about. Then you're going to want to put your report form in a folder. This is the one that you can get from Shop 4-H, or you can use one of these that you could just get locally, but something to protect it. Now, I know that some of you may feel like this is a little more challenging than things that we've done previously, because it's not about filling out a chart. It's about really reflecting on what you've done and what you've learned in 4-H and how you're going to apply that in the future. And so some of us may find that a little more challenging. I would encourage you to maybe just think that through for a little bit and then start to write. And what I find helpful is go through, write out some things, let it sit for a day or 2 if you have that time, and then go back and reread it again. And you may think of things that you had forgotten before. So I hope that you'll take the time to complete your 4-H journal, the Y2200 for level 3 recognition form, and good luck.